When I started my life after my childhood in the early teens, I decided that I should go to cricket. Why? Because at that time I was about 11 years. My friends are here sitting. So it was 1983, 84. And 84 was a turning point in our country because Kapil's Devil won the World Cup, the Prudential World Cup. And whole country was celebrating the World Cup's victory. And that was the turning point of our country. Everybody wanted to become cricketers. Cricket was the passion. Cricket became a religion thereafter. And I was no different. Like all other young boys of our country, everybody dreamed, and identically I also dreamed that we have to wear the blue color jersey for India, following the footsteps of Kapil Dev and his Devils. Joined Guwahati Cricket Coaching Center, 1984. Took cricket very passionately, dedicatedly. Every day I go there. Nehru Stadium is our playground. The smell of the fresh grass, the echo of the leather with the willows, that is our companion. And we dedicatedly started our career. And I also started playing from the state from 1984 to 1991. That was 15 years, 16 years. And I left at 1991 when I was 21 years. Very passionately, very dedicatedly participated in all the cricket tournaments. Played for Assam in the Vijay Merchant Trophy, that is for under 15. Coach Bihar Trophy under 19. Vijay Hazare Trophy under 17. And because of the performance, I was selected for the East Zone team also. Became the national champion in 1988-89. Scored some centuries also, 50s also. So with a very good dream that cricket is my passion and cricket is my way of life. That will guide me my whole life. And my whole life was entangled under cricket, nothing else. Studies was there, it was a backbencher. Studied in Cotton, studied in Don Bosco, that is part of it. But the main priority was cricket. So after playing all these domestic tournaments and even for each zone, then Wills Trophy, Ranjit Borthakur, who promoted Wills Trophy at that point of time, playing under the Indian stalwarts in Guwahati and in other places also. In 89, 90, 1991, I became a first-class cricketer, got the opportunity to play for the Ranji Trophy. So if you play Ranji Trophy, you become a first-class. I became a first-class cricketer at the age of 20 years, 19 years to be precise. 2 seasons I was there, but abruptly, in 91, I decided no more cricket for me. So that was the end of my first innings. Why, I will come and tell little bit later. That why in 1991 I decided to give up the game of cricket, which was my passion, which was my life at that point of time. So exploring other opportunities, because cricket I'm not going to continue any further. Appeared for GMAT, appeared for TOEFL, wanted with a high dream to go to USA for MBA. Then decided that I will stay back in my home state. Appeared for APSC, cleared prelims, cleared mains, but did not appear for the interview. The reason being very simple, that I do not want to become a service person. Finally, I found law. It intrigued me, it fascinated me, because it gives you liberty, it gives you freedom in your career as well as in your way of life. So I decided to go for law, which give you independence because you don't have to be under anybody. Nobody will control you. You can be yourself. You can do whatever you like, but within the parameters, within the rules of the game. So I stayed there. Started practicing from 1997. Initially insurance advocate, then service matters, then corporate law, then commercial law. So because of maybe some hard work, some blessings from the Almighty's, blessing of my mentors, so I was doing well, but I was disconnected from cricket. Then in 2009, I got the Additional Advocate General post from the Meghalaya government, Additional Advocate General from the state government in 2011. I continued. So from all these steps in the law field, from insurance advocate to corporate law to commercial law to criminal law, finally I became a constitutional lawyer. It continued, and with all the support, I became the Advocate General in 2021 at the age of 51. I think I am one of the youngest, in fact, the youngest Advocate General of the state. So when I got that post of Advocate General, it's just like scoring a century in a cricket field. Just like when you were scoring the century, you lift up, I thought that I have done my job in my field of law, but of course in a different format. Format is different. And getting the post of Advocate General, it is not my personal success. Now the role has become different. I have to work for the society, I have to work for the public interest, I have to advise the government, I have to protect the government policies. And it is in greater public interest, I have to devote myself without fear and favor. I have to be very neutral. Advocate General post, although it's a political posting, but you cannot bypass the Constitution. You are the custodian of the Constitution. Unlike the judges, they have a oath, we do not have a oath. But it is a constitutional post, so the responsibility comes much more than just being a lawyer. So there is a huge paradigm shift of my practice in law once I became the Advocate General. Doing it. In the meantime, the cricket inside me did not went away from me. As it is well said in many situations that you can take a person from the game of cricket, but you cannot bring out cricket from him. You cannot discard him from the game of cricket. Deep inside, cricket was in my blood. So, serendipity also played its role. 2013-14, when I was disconnected from the cricket, be it the association or be it the ground, I was away from the cricket for 20 years, 2 decades, long term. In 2014-15, I have seen in our state association, it was in the news for all wrong reasons because of corruption in the financial aspects or corruption in the team selections. And one gentleman who was a former office bearer of the association, he decided to file a public interest litigation in the Guwahati High Court to root out the corruption activities misdeed in Assam Cricket Association, and he engaged me as a lawyer. So I thought, this is my second innings. First innings cricket was over, but indirectly I got an opportunity to come back to cricket through that my position as a lawyer to represent him in Guwahati High Court to root out the corruption and misdeeds in Assam cricket. I became a lawyer, and thereafter I got the opportunity to represent various associations in the Supreme Court Lodha Committee cases. So, and that taught me that what are the nuances, what are the nitty-gritties of sports administration, and how law is to be implemented in the administration of sports. So I took that opportunity and started my second innings in cricket. How? I joined Assam Cricket Association as the secretary in 2019. 2022, I became joint secretary of BCCI. And finally, the secretary of BCCI from last year's December onwards. And now recently also I got another term for 3 years. And in the meantime, I became the board director of International Cricket Council also. So I was a cricketer with the ball and the wicket-keeping gloves. I was always attuned to the sneaks and the sound of the ladder. But now, it is a different ball game. I came to cricket administration in a different role, maybe with a much seasoned way, and started my role in this administrative post. My role now is not to score runs or take catches behind the wicket, but now I have to be not in the pitch, but in the boardroom to take forward the game of cricket. lot of innovations. The Indian cricket or the international cricket is at the crossroads now with the innovation of T20 matches, because our traditional game of multi-days with the red ball, that is slowly, I will not say that it is losing interest, because if you look at the recent India-England series, all the stands were packed. But there are some challenges with the new innovations. Earlier it was the crowd in the stands, now it is the crowd in the digital platforms. So there are a lot of innovations, but the character of the game of cricket has not changed. We have to maintain it, and that is precisely the role we have to play to maintain the status of the game of cricket. That is precisely what I am doing now. So my second innings started with my role in BCCI and Assam Cricket Association. I don't think there is much difference between practice of law as well as the administration of sports. In both the fields, you have to follow certain sets of rules, and that is very important. The dedication, the patience, the perseverance, these are the values you have to imbibe in yourself, whether it is in the field of cricket or it is in the field of sports. I have learned a lot of things. If I look at, in my hindsight, if I look at my career from a young cricketer to an advocate, then the advocate, highest law officer of the state, now one of the senior most office bearer of the country, or maybe at the international level also. In this whole tenure, I have seen that end of an innings is not the end of your career. My innings as a cricketer ended in 1991 at the age of 21 years. But that was not the end. There was no full stop. There was a comma. I continued. So if you continue your life, you will play a longer game. And as you all know, the connoisseurs of Test cricket knows, if the Indian team goes abroad, always the first innings India is struggling, and in the second innings they play a much better game. Those who follow Test cricket, they will understand this. That second innings, India plays better. My position maybe also is the same. I could not play for the country. I went up to the state level. I went up to the East Zone level, but I could not don the color blue. But in my second innings, at least I am not blowing my own trumpet. But we have to see that post of the secretary of BCCI or a board director of ICC is no mean post. These are very senior most posts. Lot of responsibility is there to run the game, to maintain the game and take it to the next higher level. So this is precisely my role now. That end of one innings is the beginning of the another innings. So if one door is closed, other doors are open. And for me, it is not only the other doors, some ventilators also got opened. As Deekom said, that adventurer. Yes, I left cricket. I am doing practice, but I am going to Mount Everest trekking. I go to Annapurna Base Camp trekking. I go to Route 666 motorcycle ride. I go to Ladakh for rides. So these are the small ventilators. You will get all these opportunities because I am not entangled with the cricket. So that cricket stopped. But other facilities, other openings are there. So life is a long story. Life is a test match. It is not a T20 match. So you have to play a longer match. And for that, you must have patience. And skill is common to all features, all aspects. If you have skill in a game of cricket, you will have skill in the game of Ludo also. You will have a skill in the practice of law also. You have skill in the administration of sports or administration of the country. Whatever may be the field. One thing is common, that is the values, the dedication, the commitment, the honesty, the sincerity. These things are common. You implement it in different segments of life. So my story is very simple, that I started as a young cricketer, had very big dream. It got scuttled, and it got scuttled because I find that success is most sweetest when it comes to a full circle. Why I left cricket in 1991? I was playing good, all my colleagues are playing good, But our association took a policy decision that we will bring a cricketer. I was a wicket keeper. There was only one post, and at that point there was only one format, that is the multi-days cricket. There was no T20, no 50-over matches. So, my time is running out, so I'll just close it. So at that point of time, state decided that they will bring the Indian wicketkeeper to play for Assam, and I said that my road is over. I have to bang my head on the wall also, nothing will happen, I will not get that post because the Indian keeper is wicket-keeping for the state of Assam. So when I became the secretary of Assam Cricket Association in 2019, I took a decision that after about 28 years, that there will be no guest player for the state of Assam. So that was the success, that was the sweetest thing I have done in my career. So I wish you all the best. Don't think in whatever life, whatever stage of life you are, whatever struggle you are facing, one innings may close down, there is another innings, second innings. And for my case, I'm looking for a third innings. Thank you and good night.